week in the heart of Pats Nation, two friends come together to create one football mind that eclipses even the great Bill Belichick. Representing the best of Toronto, Ontario, and Boston, Massachusetts, this is Dear Pats Nation.
Shout out Ryan Lindley.
I know, right?
I don't know how that happened. You could see me struggling to click start stream, Mike, and it was because of that. All right, I know there's somebody special that's going to be on this stream watching tonight, wanting to hear us break down this news. So I'm going to spend 59 minutes talking about nothing just to say fuck you to him. What's going on, Mike? Listen,
What?
It's summer. I'm supposed to be on break. Remember that whole we'll come back in August, we'll come back after the first preseason game. We'll talk about the preseason stuff that we saw. And we'll take the summer off, Mike.
We did discuss that.
You promised me the summer off.
I promised you most of the summer off.
So why are we here?
We're here.
Is it because the New England Patriots made the trade that was the worst kept secret in the National Football League? Is that why we're here, Michael?
Wait, the Patriots made a trade? I thought we were here to talk about Myles Garrett to the Rams.
That's a huge move. Actually, honestly, I could spend that. Okay, so I want to just, before we get into the whole AJ Brown to the Patriots thing, we all know that's why it's here. It's in the title.
Yeah.
I want everybody to know that Mike pissed me off like 10 minutes before the AJ Brown news hit. Because of the Myles Garrett trade. It all started because of the Myles Garrett's trade. And Mike and I began throwing barbs back and forth. Mike legit pissed me off. And then 10 minutes later, the news broke that the Patriots had traded for AJ Brown. And I couldn't even enjoy the news because I wanted to I wished an injury on all of the Patriots immediately after. I had like this whole diatribe that I didn't end up sending to Mike, but like one of them was going to be like, it's because of guys like you that I hope the Patriots never win a fucking Super Bowl ever again. So I had some time to digest the news now. So I'm not pissy about it anymore.
Good for you.
Mike ruined the AJ Brown experience for me. I'll tell you that much. We just had 56 consecutive viewers on the stream, so that's
awesome.
Yeah, so this is why you do it, Mike. Hit that subscribe button. Am I doing that right?
Yes.
Am I supposed to be like, guys? I'm gonna do it. I see these guys that come across my live. It's like I promise I'm gonna they're standing in front of like a fire thing. I'm gonna pull it. I promise. I'm gonna pull. Anyways, smash the like button and follow. Yeah.
Please and thank you. Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, no. So the Patriots made a trade. Kind of predictable. I think it was right around the compensation. I don't know if it's compensation that you and I talked about on air, but it's definitely compensation that you and I texted back and forth about. We didn't see a first for next year. We saw it being a first after that. So it's a 2028 first and a fifth round pick. The Patriots have 2 5s in 2027. It's going to be the better of the 5s. Listen, if Eagles fans want to celebrate this as Howie winning, I'm okay with them doing that. I think this is a good. To me, what this deal was a team that needed a star wide receiver who was willing to pay the farm for a star wide receiver, and a team that had a star wide receiver drafted who will probably be their next star wide receiver and were able to sit patiently and get what they wanted for them. That's my initial from a compensation standpoint. If the Patriots have a deep run, I know that the measuring stick for a lot of football fans is winning Super Bowls. I don't actually think that should be the measuring stick. You know that, Mike. I think But deep playoff runs, I think getting to the AFC Championship game should always be the measuring stick. Like that should be the goal every year for a fan base.
Absolutely.
If the Patriots were to make a deep run and get to an AFC Championship game or host a divisional game or win the division again, then I think we can turn around and be like, hey, this trade was successful. And if they do that, and then in 2 years, the Phillies picking 27th, 28th, 29th, then I think it's a trade it worked for everybody. If the Eagles are picking second overall in 2028, with the Patriots pick, something has gone horribly wrong. I don't think the Eagles can lose in this trade. I think the Patriots can make this everybody wins, or it can be a disaster trade. That's my initial take on the compensation, but I'll see what you got to say about it.
Yeah, I think mine's going to be right there. And that's, you kind of laid out best and worst case scenario for the Patriots, right? Like if something goes completely awry here, the Patriots could theoretically be giving up like the second overall pick. That's if Drake May gets hurt. I will say the Patriots obviously gave themselves some insurance. We're going to hear about them trading down probably all next year now to recoup some draft capital. But, aside from, I've been trolling some Philly fans for the last couple weeks about this. All jokes aside, I think it works. I think the Patriots overpaid a little bit, but you know what? It shows us that this is Mike Vrabel's team now, not Bill Belichick's team. We need to kind of unlearn what we know or what we expect. And ultimately, this is all on Vrabel now. If it doesn't work, you can't blame any. I won't. It'll be hard for me to even blame Drake May, honestly, because this is clearly Mike Vrabel advocating for a guy that he believes in.
100%. 100%. And look, I threw out a scenario to you off air because we've been on air in a while, but I threw a scenario to you, I don't know, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, and I was like, after Stephon Diggs was found not guilty, and I wrote to you and I'm like, is there a possibility that we could have an AJ Brown and Stephon Diggs team for New England? And I did think, I don't know if we talked about this, I did think they wouldn't do anything with Diggs until the Brown trade was made, but that's not where we're at right now. I do think by the time we get to training camp, we are going to be talking about a AJ Brown number 1, Stephon Diggs number 2. What's his face from Green Bay number 3, and then probably Kayshon Boutte probably on his way out. Is my opinion. That's where I'm thinking.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't expect that to be likely. I don't. I think Dobbs is going to be the number 2. I think they're going to look for some smattering of, Kyle Williams or Matt Collins to be number 3, probably. But hey,
I don't like that. I like Matt Collins as my number 4 red zone guy or my third down fuck it chuck it guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Here's what I want to put out there, Mike.
Yep.
Not that I think it's going to happen as bad as it did to Diggs, but we saw what happens to a player when they're not protected by another player. You know what I mean?
Right.
And Diggs opened up a lot of guys, and maybe AJ Brown opens up. What's his face? I keep blanking on his name.
Dobbs,
right? Romeo Dobbs.
Yep.
Right? Yeah. Maybe he opens up things for Romeo Dobbs. What I would love to see is Romeo Dobbs and Stephon Diggs wide open because AJ Brown is always drawing that double coverage. Because could you imagine Stephon Diggs in one-on-one coverage even at his age all the time? You know what I mean?
I will say, to your point, and if we're gonna fit along the narrative of the Patriots kind of buying themselves some insurance, that would be a great way to buy yourself some insurance, because not only did you bring in who you're hoping is going to be the best receiver the Patriots have had since Randy Moss, probably the second best receiver in Stephon Diggs, right? So there's really none of that. Oh, well, you could have, and this is what I'm kind of worried about all day, and we can talk about this after. if Stephon Diggs has a better season than AJ Brown for whatever reason, Patriots are going to look stupid. Stupid is putting it lightly. You know what I mean?
You mean Diggs for another team?
Yeah.
Because
for another team.
I think there's a possibility you bring Stephon Diggs back to the Patriots and he's got a better year than AJ Brown because AJ Brown made it possible for him to have a better year.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete sense. I mean, if Diggs goes on to another team and goes like, listen, that was me in year one off an ACL. Like I've had time to not only rehab but train. So that's kind of what's floating around in my mind right now. To your point, I based on what everybody's saying, it's not likely. And if I'm going to be the guy that I normally am, looking at what Francisco is saying here, that we have the cap space to do all that. Yes, we do. And listen, the Rams today proved that the cap is fake. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and argue about the cap space all day long. I will just tell you, the Crafts have already spent more money than they're normally comfortable with spending. Okay. So far, now will they get even more uncomfortable and say, you know what, we're already paying some money to Diggs, let's pay him a little more and really put this thing into overdrive? They may. I'm not going to lie to you. They've been completely unpredictable to this point.
And this is also an ownership that paid for Antonio Brown,
right?
For Josh Gordon, they're guys. They're a team that I think if you can put the right business case in front of them, they will do it.
Yep.
I think this is my opinion. Mm-hmm. Robert Kraft got a taste of what it's like to be back at the Super Bowl again.
Yeah, agreed.
Which is why I think he has no problems paying AJ Brown what he's going to pay him now. I think though, if Vrabel went to him and said, "Imagine what I could do with both of them on this team."
Yeah.
Anyways, we're talking about hypotheticals, and we should be talking about what we got in front of us. So AJ Brown had his worst statistical year last season that he had in a while. In fairness, everything kind of fell off the cliff in Philly last year. So
yeah.
But 4 straight years at over 1,000 yards. Maybe concerning is that it was 1,400, almost 1,100. He was 1,003 yards last year. Had 10 more catches than he had, 11 more catches than he had in 2024. His lowest average of his career, though, with 12.9 yards per reception. That was his average, was 12.9 yards. It's the lowest of his career. 2024 was 16.1. He was 17 and 7 touchdowns. Not really a touchdown machine throughout his career. He's only got double-digit touchdowns, I think, twice, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
How much of his decline last year was the old man having bad knees? How much of that was Philly kind of falling apart? How much of that is the different combination? And do you expect to see him? I mean, I think if Stephon Diggs is a 1,000-yard receiver with the Patriots, I think AJ Brown is easily a 1,000-yard receiver with the Patriots. I guess the question is, how much into the thousands do you expect AJ Brown to be?
I expect him to be. I'm not gonna lie to anybody. I think he's gonna be right around 1,000 yards. I think if it's any less, I think it's. I don't want to say a failure, but it might be a bad indication. We'll see. It all depends on how the pieces around him fit, right? If Hunter Henry is going for 800 yards at the same time, and Romeo, if it's kind of like again, you use the right phrase. If he opens everybody up, if Romeo Doubs has near 1,000 yards and Hunter Henry has some crazy amount, basically saying Drake May's just throwing it all over the place and everybody's catching it, that's fine with me. He doesn't need to have the 1,400 yards if that's the case. Obviously, let's put everything into context.
So here's something that I have been struggling to answer today, and I actually started thinking about this a couple days ago with anticipation that we'd be coming out. I mean, you messaged me a couple days ago and said, are we going to go live when they sign Diggs and not trade for AJ Brown? That's what you wrote to me. But
I fully expected it.
I knew, this was inevitable. We knew this was going to happen. Yeah. So I've been thinking about this, and I'm going to ask an honest question. In its current state, Because I don't know. I want to put on the table right now that I'm not asking this question to be a dick, and I'm not asking this question to set Mike up, because I do that. I set him up and then come in for the kill. I'm saying this in a sense of like, I don't know. So answer freely, Mike, is what I'm saying. You don't have to go into protection mode here. Are the New England Patriots significantly better in 2026 than they were in 2025, that team that went to the Super Bowl?
Offensively, yes. Defensively, I think they're about the same. So I think it averages out to be net very good improvement from what I'm going to expect from them offensively.
So, with that said, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. I don't think it's unfair to say that the Patriots of last year were a surprise Super Bowl team.
Oh, absolutely.
You and I didn't have them making the playoffs last season going into the start of the year. So they exceeded a lot of expectations. I fully expect them to make the playoffs this season. They've improved the offensive line. They've obviously added A.J. Brown. I think they've got weaker in some other areas, to be honest with you, but we'll
see.
My question is, the team that probably maybe had an outside chance of making the playoffs last year, we talked about it. Like, let's talk about it, who they are. This wasn't Tom Brady going to the Super Bowl and losing. This was a Patriots team that I think a lot of people respectfully said outside chance of making the playoffs. And we know when you make the playoffs, anything can happen.
Right.
And they went down a run where they had a lot of lucky breaks in the playoffs as well.
They did.
They avoided Buffalo. They avoided Knicks in Denver. Not Knicks.
Yeah, Bo Nix, yep.
Yeah, Bo Nix. They avoided Knicks in Denver. They got to play the Chargers, which is everybody wants to play the Chargers in the postseason, right? Like,
yeah.
And then the first real challenge they had against Seattle, there was people got exposed. The offensive line got exposed. Drake May got exposed. I think Mike Vrabel got exposed a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it's everybody kind of got exposed. Have they done enough this offseason, now that they've added A.J. Brown, to consider them a contender? Like a true contender. Not a team, like I see them as a playoff team. But
yeah, like more than a wild card team is basically what you're saying.
Are they in the same breath as the Buffalo Bills? I don't know, Kansas City. We'll see how they bounce back. But Kansas City, like, are they in that same breath? Do you have them in that same breath as like, hey, man. Now, again, I look at the AFC and think everybody has a chance in the AFC.
Yeah, like, that's kind of where I'm at, yeah.
I mean, I think the Jets could have a decent team in the AFC this year, right? Like, I think the AFC East has gotten very interesting.
Yeah.
But I also look at, like, I think that, you know, you look at the South, it's within the, you know, Houston, I guess, is the team, but will they, you know, you look at the North, Baltimore, maybe the Steelers, maybe. I mean, the Steelers made some moves in this offseason, but do you trust McCarthy and old man Rodgers, right? Then you got the division, obviously, is the West, right? Like with Denver, I expect Denver to be just as good this season. I expect Kansas City to bounce back. I don't know how you feel. Like, it just, I can't count that team out.
I'm not going to make the mistake a lot of people made for years and count out Patrick Mahomes until I see them absolutely fall off the raft. And
if they have a similar season to last year, then I think it's okay to be like, time is over. That time is done in Kansas City.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, listen, everybody's conflating these things. They're like, Patrick Mahomes got injured. That's why he didn't get hurt until that last game, you know? So, you know, I don't know if they did enough there. I don't know if adding a running game to help Patrick Mahomes is enough at this point with basically, you know, Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice being his best receiver. I still don't think that's enough.
Okay, I'm going to put one more question out for you.
Sure.
What does A.J. Brown coming to the Patriots do for Ramondre Stevenson and Henderson?
So this is actually I'll tie. You know me. You knew how I was going to answer this question. I'll tie this into what I was going to say about them being a contender. This, combined with the moves at fullback and offensive line, should give them one of the most dominant running games, I think, in the AFC right now. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic with that. I know we have our issues with Travion Henderson. He was still a 1,000-yard receiver, and they're giving him a fullback and a better offensive line.
Running back.
Or what did I say?
Wide receiver. Common receiver.
Oh, okay. Yeah, running back. Who's still a 1,000-yard running back. Like that. And listen, we saw what Ramondre Stevenson meant to this team down the stretch in the playoffs. He was, arguably their best offensive player. And I know for the people out there that are like, no, it's Diggs. I'm like, man, go look at the tape. It might have been Ramondre Stevenson.
I told Mike going into the playoffs, this team will go as far as Ramondre Stevenson drags them.
Yeah, and you were absolutely right. 100%. Like, listen, they added a fullback, added Elijah Vera Tucker, drafted a tackle that very well may end up kicking, Campbell over to guard, for everybody who doesn't want to hear that or not. Long story short is A.J. Brown makes everything better because he's slotting all the receivers down one place, and he's actually moving the running game up, right? Because this is doing what they want to do. All eyes are going to be on A.J. Brown. They're not going to be on Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson.
I agree. And that was sort of the way I was thinking about it today. I thought before A.J. Brown, I didn't think the Patriots were significantly better. Mm-hmm. I thought the offensive line was significantly better, adding Vera Tucker, another year of Will Campbell. Like, you got to understand, everybody, just him going to the gym, getting bigger, getting better. You hope that worst case scenario for the Patriots is Will Campbell comes out this year and gets pancaked a bunch of times and we see no growth out of him. That's to me is worst case, because we've seen from Drake May, we have seen growth year over year. Like, I guess 1 year to the second year, but year over year. If Will Campbell comes out and is getting bullied again, or can't get his feet out the line, or as I told you when I broke it down on our last episode there, that first step where he just misses that first step, if that's still happening this year, I don't think anything we did matters. I really don't, because what we saw in the postseason, what we saw in the Super Bowl is exactly what matters. If that offensive line can't protect Drake May, you can't get the ball out. If the offensive line is not opening up holes, it takes the run game away. If you take the run game away, you become one-dimensional. Doesn't matter how many good New England Patriot teams did we see in the past that became one-dimensional, that couldn't move the football.
I mean, those last couple of years with and without Tom Brady, one of their like the keystone of failure was literally the left tackle, or the lack of one, right? Tom Brady couldn't get the ball out. Mac Jones was struggling. They had a decent offensive line for the 1 year where, they made the playoff run, and then it kind of collapsed again. So,
well, I would argue that Super Bowl 53, if it not for James Devlin and Sony Michel, the Patriots probably lose to the Rams.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
That was a defensive performance of the ages, and Sony Michel dragging that team. I understand Brady, the pass to Gronk. I'm not taking anything away from that. I've told Mike over and over again, I'm wearing an 11 shirt. I want to put this out right here, right now. I'm wearing an 11 shirt. My dog's name is Jewel. So before I say this, because I know I'm going to get roasted for it, Julian Edelman, to me, is the most undeserving Super Bowl MVP I'd ever seen. You know what I mean? Like, the most undeserving. And I love, again, my dog's name is Jules, guys. After Julian, I love Julian Edelman. But how you had a defensive performance like you had, and Sony Michel running like he did, to turn around and say Julian Edelman was the MVP of that game, I will never understand. But that team became very one-dimensional, and it was hard for them to move the ball. But you had Tom Brady, and sometimes Tom Brady could overcome those moments. Drake May's not Tom Brady, and he shouldn't have to be, and we should never think of him as Tom Brady. And if you make him one-dimensional, he's going to struggle like a normal quarterback would, no matter how great you are. If you make Patrick Mahomes one-dimensional, he struggles. We've seen it. There's nothing wrong with that. So my whole thing is the offensive line. My biggest fear this year is Tucker goes down, and which is a very big, it's a real possibility.
Right. Injury history.
Yep. And Will Campbell doesn't progress. Then every other move to me doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mike, how many times did I tell you during free agency, I don't think they're addressing the line enough. They're not building depth in the offensive line. And we kept going, the draft. I'm like, that's not good enough. They need to address the depth. I don't need a big signing. I don't need you to go out and, make a big trade, but where's the Fleming, the Cameron Fleming? Where's the guy who can step in? Where's the Ted Karras?
Well, to be fair to them, too, we may see that towards training camp, right? They drafted 2 guys. They have some depth guys that have been hanging on the roster since last season now that everybody, you hear the guys on the beat starting to whisper like, oh, that guy looks a little better than we thought because they didn't really get to see him play last year. So we'll see. I think the Patriots have bought themselves a little bit of a contingency with Lomu, to your point, but he's still a rookie. So if, God forbid one of those offensive linemen go down in like week 2, you're going to be throwing a rookie in there most likely. And it's going to be kind of sketchy at that point.
And we know what that looks like. We've seen what can happen. Anyways, I think for me, I'm just tampering the expectations of AJ Brown.
Yeah, I am too. Yep.
I don't think we're adding AJ Brown to, I was trying to make the comparison, and the only real comparison that I have that's Patriots related is Randy Moss. And Randy Moss is a whole. There's no, but it's the only comparison that I can make right now. I don't think there's a Wes Welker on this team to pair with Randy Moss. You know what I mean? And that's what made that combination so deadly, right? So deadly. So I'm trying to, I don't want people to have Randy Moss expectations. I agree with you. I think if AJ Brown comes in, Patriots got the first place schedule, people. They got a tough, it's the first place schedule. It's not the third or fourth place schedule. It's the first place schedule they got to place. I think if New England if AJ Brown can come in 1,000, 1,100 yards, 6 or 7 touchdowns, we use Mac Hollins as a third down and red zone receiver, open up the door for Romeo Doubs.
Yep.
If it's me right now, I'm either keeping Booty as my number 3.
Okay.
Or I'm trading Booty and I'm signing Diggs. Even making Diggs my number 3. But I'm not going forward with the other guys I have as my number 3.
I like Hollins or Kyle Williams at the 3. I
like Hollins as my number 4. He's my 4.
Yeah.
He's my third down because I think you expose him at number as a 3. You need him to do things that he doesn't do. Right?
Okay.
Mac Hollins needs to take on a linebacker, jump up and catch the football. That's what Mac Hollins does. That's what made him so great last year. Coming up, he was taking on strong safeties and everything else. I don't want him on a corner. I don't want him on a high safety. I want that guy going in those. I want him going against.
You want him on the mismatch. Yeah, you want him on the mismatch.
I want him against a 5'9" strong safety where they're launching the ball in the air. The guy's got probably one of the strongest set of hands I've seen in a New England receivers, probably since Gronkowski, to be honest with you. Right? Mm-hmm. Which is a little pathetic to Hunter Henry, but again, Eagles fan in the house. But no, again, so you got Hollins that comes up. I like him as that number 4. You can mix match him. If Mac Hollins, I know what he did, and I know why you like him, and I like Mac Hollins. I told you I thought he was the most underrated player on the team last season. But if you put him into a number 3, the expectation changes for him, and what he does changes, and his role changes. He succeeded. I'm going to go back to the Bill Belichick line of coaching, not GM, right? But you put the guy in the position where he can best succeed. Right now, the guy who can best succeed as a number 3 receiver on this team is Kayshon Boutte.
Yeah, it's just tough because him and Brown play the same role. And AJ Brown might be a little bit more dynamic, or maybe Boutte has some skills that they just haven't shown. I'm just not sure at this point.
I think you can line him up in the slot. I think he can run. I think he can stretch the field in the slot. You put him in the left gap slot. You put Brown on the outside right, and you just split the field.
Yeah. And I know his name didn't come up last year, and listen, I know, but everybody's going to be like, oh, undrafted white boy free agent. Of course, you're going to talk about him. Pop Douglas never became the slot that I think people wanted him to here, and because I don't think he's meant to play that role. He's kind of like this Danny Amendola, sneaky go outside guy because of his quickness. Efton Chisholm is one of those tough ball magnets that I would like to see him in the slot, but ideally, I think your point is right on. Ideally, if you could put Brown on the outside and Diggs in the slot, and any grouping of those other two guys on the field, I don't even care what the other two guys do at that point. If Romeo Doubs is your third, that's that's a great 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
What more can you ask for? That we've talked about in New England forever that we don't have that huge core. To me, this would somewhat represent what we always wanted in New England. Remember that one game in Miami?
Yeah.
Right? Edelman, Brown, Gordon, Dorsett being the number 4.
Yeah.
Right? Dorsett number 4. Imagine this now. Brown, Diggs, Dobbs, Hollins.
Yeah, you couldn't stop that. And I know we're going to get a little nostalgic here, but if you go back and you watch that Dolphins game, Tom Brady was basically practicing on air against a slightly harder than practice defense, but he wasn't trying. That's
and if you go get Diggs, they have the opportunity. It's why I think the job's not done. It's why I'm not getting that excited about it, because I feel like Diggs is there.
Yeah.
And you could make this that 1, 2, 3 punch. And you're right. You're already paying him. You've got tons of money left. Put him on a 1-year deal.
Yeah. Polk got traded last year. I'm just reading the comments.
I just imagine Brown, Diggs, Dobbs, Hollins, and then you add in Ramondre Stevenson and Travion Henderson, who's probably the best 1-2 punch at running back the Patriots have had since Blunt and White.
Yeah, probably.
Right?
And yeah.
So I think there's still a missing piece. I know this sounds like the most crybaby statement at the moment, because we're literally talking about the Patriots bringing in AJ Brown, but I really do feel like that number 2 spot is missing. I don't look at Dobbs as a true number 2. I see him. Imagine Dobbs on number 3. You know what I mean? I think, and the thing is, if Diggs wasn't available, maybe I'm okay, there's nothing to work with. This is what we have to work with. Let's see how we can make this work. But I know that Stephon Diggs is out there. We know he works well with our quarterback. And I don't think Diggs is quite the diva he was. I know he's got his off-field problem, but I don't think he's quite the diva he was in Minnesota or Buffalo.
Well, again, I'm going to encapsulate this more in the narrative, drama aspect of the NFL. The Crafts like to be risk averse. They just took all the risk. They probably took more risk in this one move than they've taken on in my entire lifetime of watching the Patriots. I'm not exaggerating. I can't tell you, a time that we've been alive where the Patriots have gone, yeah, we're going to trade a first-round pick. We're going to pay the full freight for the receiver. And, oh, by the way, he has an injury history. Tell me when that's happened. you probably can't. Maybe with a defensive player because Bill was different with defense.
I would say the only comparable would be having Antonio Brown and Josh Gordon on the same team.
Yeah, which again they didn't give up draft capital for Antonio Brown.
Financial.
Yeah, it was total. So if you want to buy yourself some risk aversion, bringing in Stephon Diggs, you're going, hey, we're still bringing back the guy that was great last year, and we just added to it. Not only we doubled down on it, we tripled down on it. We got Romeo Dobbs. We're showing you guys we're not afraid to spend. And I'll be honest with you, if they bring Diggs in for money, this may be apart from Diggs because I think you're kind of on an island with this one. Again, not that I disagree with it. I think there's a small move to be made defensively. I think the pass rush still bothers them, and what we're hearing is they might be eyeing a move. So, maybe it's
like a Max Crosby or like a smaller move.
No. I'm talking about somebody you give up like a third or a fourth round pick for. Maybe it's something where they send Booty and do like a pick swap and get a pass rusher, something like that. And Josh Sweat's out there with the Cardinals. He doesn't want to play. Kayvon Thibodeau with the Giants was floated today because they're.
But I heard he's going to. Somebody else is interested in him.
I'm just throwing out some names I saw today, and
I'm just telling you what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
I would have given up a first this year for Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
100%. I would have. 100%. I would have went back-to-back years with no first-round pick.
That's tough. That's tough for me. But I would have liked to see what Mike Vrabel could have done with that.
You would have given up 2 first-round picks for Julio Jones, and now you won't give up a first-round pick for Myles Garrett?
Listen, it was different. We had Cam Newton at the time. It wasn't even Tom Brady. Listen, I agree with you. I thought the 2 first-round picks was too much. Okay, I still think the first-round pick for AJ Brown's too much, but I've learned to live with it. I'm shocked that this isn't Patriots guarantees, conditional second-round pick. Like clearly, Bill Belichick's not here anymore. He would have never done this. Never in 100 years.
I think I disagree with you. I think he would have. I'm not getting into this right now. So first of all, it was an argument about Bill Belichick. Just so everybody knows, when I talked about how Mike pissed me off right before, it was an argument about Bill Belichick. And there was something I was thinking about after I heard about the A.J. Brown and I was driving home. Sometimes it's the things that don't happen that we forget about because we don't have that benchmark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you forget that they had a deal in place and done for Odell Beckham Jr. and the Giants pulled out right at the last second? And it was supposed to be a big deal. It was supposed to be a big deal. And it was the Giants turned around internally and said, if Bill wants him, why are we getting rid of him?
Yeah. First of all, you still had the greatest quarterback of all time, too. And I think Odell was like 26 at the time. So
but to me, he was making a big move for Odell, though. So he would make a big move if he liked the running back.
Oh yeah,
or the receiver. I think it's because Odell became available. I think that in his prime, Belichick would have given up the farm to get Ocho Cinco, like in his prime. That's why he brought him in as a washed up receiver because he loved Chad Johnson.
Well, so I bring up these 2 examples all the time. Number one, okay, we know that they were going to draft Justin Jefferson. There is actual footage of that. So don't tell me Bill couldn't identify wide receivers. In the year before Antonio Brown became available and went to the Raiders, the Patriots were willing to give up something ridiculous for him, and the Steelers were
said
like,
no.
Mike Tomlin. I think they got like a second and a third. The Patriots were going to give up like a 1 and a 2, and Mike Tomlin was like, absolutely not.
So thank you for reneging and redefending Bill Belichick. I love you. Appreciate you.
No.
You just did it. You just did it. And I appreciate you for that.
The context of my argument is always lost. I hate it. It's all right. He does it on purpose. I understand. I get it.
Look,
We're not here. We're not here to talk about Bill today. I made a little reference.
You took the shot at him. You took an unprovoked shot at him for no reason whatsoever, and you put me on the defensive to have to fucking defend him. And now your buddy's going to be all pissy because we stopped talking about the actual
news.
trade and got into, God forbid, something different for 5 minutes. Tia, what's going on?
Yeah,
Tia's an OG. Should say hi to everybody. Francisco's an OG. He's been in here.
Where's Hanif?
I don't know. Hanif pops in the chat every once in a while, or the comments every once in a while.
He does.
Do you want to? I'm not saying that name. I'm going to screw that up. But do you want to address this?
Don't be shy.
Kayvon Thibodeau, I think his name is.
Yeah. I mean, again, just heard it today. I think listen, the kid they drafted, and his name escapes me now that it's important. If you ask me 23 other hours of the day, I would know it. But now that we're on the air, my brain decided to shut off. Sounds like he's been injured. And we haven't heard anything on Harold Landry and his recovery. So it sounds like they're light on pass rush. What was one of their follies last year? They couldn't get to the quarterback. So listen, you've given up a first and change for AJ Brown. Now what's another third? What's a little bit more money? You're pushing all the chips in. That's what they're doing. I don't want to hear that they're not like, oh, well, the Eagles are paying some of the freight, the first round pick. Like, yeah, I know I just made all those excuses. But like, if you're gonna go 90%, go the full 100. Just go in.
Here's what I will tell you. The New England Patriots. I'm gonna talk about something honest right now. Like, let's be open and honest about something here right now. It's something that maybe people don't want to hear about. Maybe Patriot fans don't want to hear about. But it's something you got to hear about because it's going to be different for New England fans. You know what this move told me today, Mike?
What did it tell you?
1,000% what you just said. The Patriots have gone all in. I think the Patriots believe they have come close to the end of their rebuild. And they're ready for the payoff.
Any more? Do you want me to interject?
No, I got a point.
Okay.
I just want to make it. I want to make it clear. From 2000 until 2020, the Patriots built sustainability. And that's what a lot of New England Patriot fans like you, who are very young when they started, and I would say it started in '93. When they drafted Drew Bledsoe, and then brought in like a lot of the big defensive guys, Brewski and Lawyer and Willie and all them. So going back to the Parcells days, there's been nothing but sustainability. I want to remind everybody, the Patriots have been good since the 90s, like throughout that whole period. Went to a Super Bowl in 97.
Yep.
So even I, who started watching football in the 90s, have been used to sustainability. Yeah, you had the Pete Carroll era. You had the first year of Belichick. You had some down, but then we had this long stretch of sustainability.
Absolutely, yeah.
And what happens is the rest of the NFL did the regular cycle. You get good. You get really good. You take your chance. You start over. You get good. You get really good. You take your chance. You start over. The Patriots are not building sustainability anymore. The Patriots are going for it, which means I want everybody to know, because we've never had this conversation as a part of Dear Pats Nation in my entire time since 2017. Mike, we're going on almost 10 years since the start of Dear Pats Nation.
Crazy.
Next year will be the 10-year anniversary of the start of Dear Pats Nation. So in 10 years or 9 years, I've never had to say this. But Pats Nation, the New England Patriots have just entered their Super Bowl window.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 to 4 years now to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then look at Kansas City. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. You'll still, or Buffalo, like you'll still be good because of the quarterback and hopefully a couple people you drafted. But you're going to go, okay, we got to kind of reconfigure, jettison a piece, add a piece, trade away a guy, that kind of stuff, right?
You have your quarterback. You have your quarterback. He's going to cost you a fortune, but you have your
Yes.
but you have your quarterback, which is why, Mike, you know me, I'm a big believer is you don't give quarterbacks a second contract. That my theory in quarterbacking is now is you next year, which unfortunately, 2027, you draft a quarterback and you build them to get ready to replace Drake May. And then you're never paying a quarterback. Then you pay his option year. You option him. You pick up his option. You tag him, right? So then you play him on the tag. Then you pay 1 year of a quarterback high salary. In the meantime, you build other pieces. I'm going to say it. I mean, not necessarily in this short time span, but Green Bay made a living off of getting rid of a quarterback too early and building. I mean, they've been good for like 5 decades of just sustainable quarterback play. And that comes from developing. Honestly, I'm at the point now, I look at the modern day NFL, and unless you have a Josh Allen, and I'm sorry, I love Drake May, but right now he's not a Josh Allen. I'm a guy that's just like, you know what? I'd have a quarterback for 6 years, and then I'd replace him with my new quarterback and keep my salary and spend my money everywhere else. You know how like everybody's like, you look at Kansas City, it's all quarterback money, and then they try to, with all the little remaining money they have left, they try to build around him, right? Yeah, the cap is a myth, and the Rams, when you have a senior citizen quarterback in Matthew Stafford who's made his money and is no longer on these long-term deals where you're into the high cap numbers, you can manipulate his salary a lot easier. It's hard to manipulate a salary of a guy who's year 4 of a 10-year deal. You can move things around, but it's more difficult. I'm at a thing now, and this isn't just a Drake May thing. This is just like my new NFL, like modern day NFL. Like, how can I be different than everybody else and be sustainable? Like, Bill Belichick figured out the salary cap before the rest of the NFL did. I know it's changed now, but they did. It's no more. I wouldn't give a quarterback a second year, like a second contract.
I get where you're going. I just don't think it's realistic, because then the quarterbacks go, we're not going to play on your tag, right? That's what ends up happening.
Yeah, but it just needs to become sustainable, because I look around the league, Mike. Okay? Tell me right now, when you look around the NFL, name me the 5 quarterbacks that you would desperately want on your team. Because I would argue with you in 2012, there would have been 10 quarterbacks that you would have been fighting for to be on your team.
I mean, we also watched a golden age of quarterbacking. You might not be able to argue it.
No, I get that's why I say we're not in there anymore. Like what? So what? I'm going to give Baker Mayfield a second-year contract, or I'm going to run with Kirk Cousins as my quarterback, or I'm going to run with Jared Goff as my quarterback. Again, I would rather just take my gamble with a new quarter.
I understand what you're saying, and you're arguing kind of two different things. You're arguing that the league is paying too much to quarterbacks, but you can blame teams like the Browns for that, because as soon as they have the opportunity to trade for a quarterback, they do, and then they guarantee his entire salary and screw up the whole market.
Oh, I understand that, but because it's like that, this is where I'm going to be different. I'm going to tell a guy, look, someone's going to give you a lot of money one day, but I'm going to trade. I'm going to draft you.
I don't think that's realistic if you have a guy like Drake May. I just don't. Like, his ceiling is too high. Like,
yeah, but his floor is just as low. Drake May has proved nothing in the NFL. Like, what did he prove? What did he?
No, I'm not saying he has.
Be honest. And I'm not trying to be a dick here. If Drake May played for another team last year, what would your opinion on Drake May be? Not as high as it is right now.
I can't answer that question because
you know it wouldn't be as high.
Yeah, I just can't. But I will tell you, you're not banking on what happened last year as being his ceiling, or even next year being his ceiling. You're hoping that despite those lesser pieces, he can, in the future, that he's the guy who's going to elevate you with his arm, with his legs, with his brain, with whatever.
True.
Mm.
I guess I've seen him without an offensive line because that's where the money doesn't go when you're paying a quarterback big money.
Listen.
Because I've seen Tom Brady line, and it was a lot different. And I'm not talking 2020 Tom Brady. I saw Tom Brady in 2006 without an offensive line before they reset that line. And he got it together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he knew he could navigate it better. I'm saying it's my issue is, and we saw it in Kansas City this year. I'm sorry. Drake May is not as good. Drake May is not where Patrick Mahomes was at his age, and he probably will never reach what Patrick Mahomes could have been. And we saw Patrick Mahomes without an offensive line last year, and he looked like shit because that's what most teams do.
And listen, we are the home of unrealistic expectations for the New England Patriots, and by that I mean exposing unrealistic expectations. We say it all the time. We don't expect him to be Tom Brady. I don't expect Drake May to be Josh Allen. I expect Drake May to be Drake May under Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels' tutelage, which may end up being better than, Josh, because he's going to use his brain more. He's going to be he's going to be smarter about the physical situations he puts himself in. Mike Vrabel is going to, hopefully, mold him into something. That's when all the pieces.
Josh Allen is completely overrated, and I'm not saying that as a shtick.
I know. Right.
The benchmark to me is Patrick Mahomes. That's the benchmark in the NFL. Not Josh Allen, not Lamar Jackson, not anybody else. The benchmark in the NFL is Patrick Mahomes. I don't like saying it, but it's what it is, and it's who it is, and it's what it is.
Is it more likely that he's Joe Burrow? It gets to a Super Bowl, may never see another one. That's the majority of the quarterbacks in the NFL, or they win one and never get back.
Yeah. So we're done. So it's time to move on. That's what I'm saying. That's my logic. My logic is he's made his Super Bowl. Whether you win or lose, he's made his Super Bowl. And unless he's Patrick Mahomes, because you have those generational quarterbacks. Agreed.
Yeah, but you're saying you would have paid. You're saying you would have gotten rid of Patrick Mahomes after year 2.
No, because Patrick Mahomes after year 2, you could already see was Patrick Mahomes. Look at Patrick Mahomes' first year in the NFL. It was tenfold over what Drake May looked like. Patrick Mahomes already looked like a polished quarterback in his first year in the NFL. And he looked even better year 2 when he won the fucking Super Bowl. And he looked and convinced, he looked even better year 3 when he won the fucking Super Bowl again. And then, you know what I mean? So by the time we would have got to resetting that schedule, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying Patrick Mahomes is not, though he's the quote unquote standard, as I said, like that's what the yardstick needs to be. Mm-hmm. He's also not readily available in the draft or anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? And I think, you know what? He could be, you're right. Drake May could be Joe Burrow, which is not a bad thing. He could also be Baker Mayfield, which I think is a bad thing. He could be Jared Goff. He could be, you know what I mean? There's a lot of unknown. And I'm saying in this modern
Matthew NFL, Stafford. Did Matthew Stafford win for a decade? No, he just put up really good stats
until he went to a different team with a different coach and a better, and everything else. He never did it in Detroit. He never did it in Detroit.
Right. But that
they paid him. Congratulations, you got paid. And congratulations, Detroit. You paid your quarterback.
Did paying them stop the Rams from doing anything? And that's why I'm trying to not quote the Rams, because they're kind of the exception that proves the rule. Like they pay they managed to somehow give away draft picks, get great players, and it's still win. Like they just break the model. Like they prove that the NFL salary cap doesn't work. Draft picks are weird.
They do.
That's why I'm trying.
And I think a lot. Again, I think a lot of the emphasis on the draft is completely overrated. I can go through Every draft, it's like every time someone like you talks about like, oh, Belichick can't draft, blah, blah. I'll pull you every great team in the NFL and show you every fucking miss that they had. Show me all the great misses that they had. You know,
that's why the Chiefs. That's why the Chiefs are in the spot they're in. The Chiefs are a microcosm of like what the modern day Patriots would be. Like, had a really great quarterback, had a great coach, had some really good pieces. Got old, couldn't draft, and now they're like, oh shit, we kind of suck. We got to reboot this whole thing. Now that 100%. Reboot's not going to involve getting rid of the quarterback because they're not, stupid.
Well, you can't. I mean, that's again because he's Patrick Mahomes. But I would move on from. Okay, I'm saying this. I'll take Drake May off the table so that you don't get pissy because I talk about because you think I have this hate for Drake May that I don't. I just think I'm a little more realistic about Drake May. I would move on from Josh Allen right now if I had to do a reboot. And I know people are going to be like, I would though, because Josh Allen without the proper pieces around him is not going to win you a Super Bowl. And they're only going to get worse, Mike, because his salary is only going up and his cap hit only gets larger.
I just don't agree because I think he's the only thing that give the Buffalo Bills a chance. Like they don't have a soul without him. That team is disgusting without him.
But you get rid of him and you can put money in other places.
And then do what? Who are you going to get to replace him? Kyler Murray?
No,
Russell Wilson?
See, here's the problem. Here's the problem. See, you grew up in the golden era of quarterback play. And these new GMs are still following that level. I watched Trent Dilfer win a fucking Super Bowl, Mike. You know why? Because they had Ray Lewis and they had not Terrell Suggs, but they had
all those people that Bill Belichick takes credit for drafting.
Well, he did. He built that Baltimore team. But anywho. But what I'm saying is, I watched Trent Dilfer. I watched Trent Dilfer win a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, I watched a very young Tom Brady, who was not the Tom Brady today, win a Super Bowl on the backs of one of the greatest defenses ever put together. When you look at the original Patriots defense, I look at the great Tom Brady winning a Super Bowl, his final Super Bowl with New England, on the backs of a defense who had historic numbers, plus a rookie running back who dragged them through the playoffs. Yes, the quarterback had a couple of good games, but look at Brady's stats that year. Look at the whole offensive stats that year. It was running backs, it was fullbacks, and it was defense. The problem with the modern day NFL, and I'm sorry, the problem with the modern day fan in the NFL who started watching fucking football in 2005 is that you think the quarterback is the only position that matters.
This got off the rails.
No, but it's true though, and this is what I'm saying. The quarterback position has become so important that no other position matters in football anymore, and that's the problem. And that's why teams struggle. And you know what? The Rams are not the exception. Yes, the Rams have put all these great pieces together and done this and done that. Congratulations. You won one fucking Super Bowl doing that. You've built no sustainability. You know what I mean? Like, you're not building these dream teams that are going to win 5, 6, 7, 8 Super Bowls in a row. And what I'm saying
we just argued that's not the NFL, though. That's the point.
Yeah, but the thing is, but even with the sellout, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, they've done this complete sellout. Haven't had a first-round draft pick forever, won one Super Bowl out of it. Now, you could say, like, well, they won a Super Bowl, but they won it 3 years ago. They didn't have to give up the next 3 first-round draft picks in another pursuit of a second ring. You know what I mean? But what I'm getting at, here's what I'm getting at, because the Rams are very soon going to go through a rough time because all these guys they brought in are old as fuck.
Well, that's what this is. This is Matt Stafford has a 1, maybe 2 more years left, and we're going to maximize those. And which is what the page. Which is okay. I'm going to even contradict myself more. Is actually what Bill Belichick tried to do at the end of Brady when he realized, what was it after that Rams Super Bowl? They sucked offensively, but
but you maximize. And if you look, and that's what I'm saying. I think that you look at like the Patriots undefeated season, right? Tom Brady gets the touchdown record, blah, blah, blah. Despite winning 3 Super Bowls before that, I think it was that season, even though they lost to the Giants, it was that season that really cemented Brady as like, okay, let's start having GOAT conversations, right? But like, do you think if they don't have Randy Moss that season happens? Like, you know what I mean? Like, do you think he's doing that with Wes Welker alone? Like, no,
I think they could have gotten to a Super Bowl. I don't think they would. Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah. They wouldn't have been. Yeah, no,
undefeated and legacy building. And that's what I'm saying. And it's you know, and look, I'm not going to get into this right now. You know, when you talk about legacies and you talk about this and you talk about that, like, there's so much shit that has to. If you let the New England Patriots with the exact same roster face the exact same rosters in the exact same circumstances over and over again, they're not winning 6 Super Bowls. You know what I mean?
No,
it's, you know, it's you need little shit to happen. And I always say that if the NFL, if they make the right call in 2001 and call the fumble, the Patriots probably, Drew Bledsoe's probably the quarterback in 2002. You know what I mean? And
maybe.
I think if that you want to hear my conspiracy theory? If they don't call the tuck rule, right, and they call that a fumble, and the Raiders win, and the last game played at old New England, you know, at old Patriot Stadium is a loss, right? I think I think Robert Kraft goes home, has a stiff drink. Don't forget, Drew was his Brady at that time. Drew was his other son that he used to kiss on the lips and, you know, all that fun stuff that Tommy got to get after. I think he sits there and goes, I gave Bill the opportunity. I think Belichick gets the call that he's fired. I think Drew gets called into an office and he says, you know, we went with Tommy because he had the hot hand, but this is your team. And, you know, we saw what you did in the AFC Championship game, because don't forget, Brady went out in the AFC Championship game. Actually, they wouldn't even have been there. That wouldn't even have mattered. You know what? They went hot. We never gave you never were given the chance to get your job back, which is not fair. Bill's gone. Let's start over. And Tom Brady never becomes Tom Brady. You know what I mean? I really think that's what happens. It didn't, because you need little things to happen. If fucking Bo Nix doesn't somehow break his ankle, the Patriots might not go to the Super Bowl.
On like the last play of the game.
Yeah, on a play that looked like nothing on top of it, like that should have broken his ankle. So I'm saying, like, you need all these little tiny things to happen. Me saying I'm moving on from Drake May has nothing to do with Drake May's talent. Me saying that my new logic is to go against the grain of the NFL is that everybody is investing like 50% of their salary cap into one position and then can't figure out why they're in last place, because they have nobody to throw the ball to, nobody to stop the other team, and no one to protect the quarterback.
I'm not saying I disagree with you on that part at all. And that's why Bill drove a hard line on percentages for years, which I get. I'm just telling you, I don't think the Patriots are going to be the one to break the mold with Drake May. I think I
don't think they are either. Yeah, I was talking about my opinion. I was saying if I was running the team, I don't think the Patriots. I don't think anybody's going to do what I say. I just think that people are stupid, though. I think that they've allowed the quarterback salary to balloon, and I think they've put so much emphasis on, if you don't have a star quarterback, you can't win a Super Bowl, when it's been proven for many years. Jalen Hurts is not a star.
No, and they know it. You know why? The Eagles are going to probably move on from him shortly. We have any Eagles fans left in here? Can we touch on this now for like 20 seconds? All the Eagles fans out there that thought you were going to get like 5 first-round picks for A.J. Brown, can you please admit today that you were wrong? And it's not like, haha, we still fleeced them. The fact that you thought that he was worth that much is ridiculous. And no one will own up to that, because they're all sitting in their corners today going, oh, we fleeced the Patriots. And I still think you fleeced us, but he wasn't worth the 3 first-round picks you thought he was. And you knew deep down he wasn't either. And anyway, that's my soapbox.
Nick Foles won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It could have been Carson Wentz.
Saquon Barkley won you that Super Bowl. Your quarterback was good in that Super Bowl.
But this is what I'm getting at, Mike. And this is why I don't think investing, unless you have a Patrick Mahomes. Because again, I think Mahomes is a generational quarterback. Correct? Am I wrong in saying that?
No, I think you're absolutely right. But what made Patrick Mahomes Patrick Mahomes? Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Andy Reid, and Spagnuolo. And that's the argument I'm trying to make is Drake May's not there.
No. I heard that Bill Belichick argument forever. Well, if he didn't have this guy, yes, everybody takes somebody. You need people, but he won a Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. Won one without him. They got rid of Tyreek Hill and won a Super Bowl.
So the analogy I'm trying to make is he had that foundation to get where he needed to go, and now he got there faster than anybody could have predicted. That's what most likely is going to make him the second greatest quarterback of all time. I'm saying the Patriots still had foundation. Still have a foundation to build to see if Drake May is going to get them to 2, hopefully 3 Super Bowls, and maybe they win one of those, somewhere along the next 10 years, you're hoping?
Do you think, I'm trying to ask this in a way that's not going to get you mad, and that I hope you understand the question.
I'm wicked smart.
I'm emphasizing the word significant. Okay, that needs that needs. Is Drake May significantly better than what the Patriots could have gotten out of, hypothetically, not like an available player, but is he significantly better than what the Patriots could have got out of, say, a Jimmy Garoppolo had they moved on from Tom Brady early? Significantly. I think it's fair to say he's better. But is it a significant difference?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. Jimmy, first of all, knowing what we know about hindsight, Jimmy G couldn't stay healthy. Period.
Okay,
end of story.
Pretend he stays healthy.
Right, and that's why I'm throwing that out there first. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo had the ability to move like Drake May does. And I don't think he's was nearly as good of a thrower as Drake May is. Drake May's ability to put that deep ball in the place where he wants it is something special. Like Tom Brady's ability to put a ball over the middle to Julian Edelman was his superpower. I think Drake May's ability, special power, is to put that deep ball in places where most people can't go get it or can't defend.
Okay, last question, then I gotta go.
Okay.
Who had a more impressive first season with Josh McDaniels? And take a second and think about it. I need you to think about it, because I know what your immediate response is going to be, but I need you to think about it.
Okay.
Who had a better first season with Josh McDaniels? Drake May or Mac Jones? Not Mac Jones and Matt Patricia.
Right.
Mac Jones, who got blown out in the playoff game. I totally admit that, but in Buffalo. But Mac Jones that brought the Patriots to the playoffs under Josh McDaniels, because you made the argument to me many a times, if Josh McDaniels doesn't leave that team, Mac Jones might still be the Patriots quarterback and still has a chance to become something. That you think Belichick purposely actually ruined him.
I do think Belichick sabotaged Mac Jones, but I do think there is a reason in there, and this is the reason you used to throw at me, so I'm going to kind of throw it back at you here. I think
I'm asking a question. I don't have
right. I just not for the sake of gotcha, more for the sake. I think Belichick knew how limited Mac Jones is, whereas I think it's the exact opposite with Drake May. I think Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels realized the potential and the ceiling of Drake May, not his limitations. And let's throw this Super Bowl out. And I understand the playoff run wasn't spectacular by any means. I'm not going to fool myself. They got lucky in that playoff run. Mac Jones, man, looking back on that, he again, great over the middle. No power with some of those deep ball throws. And even Tom Brady had an underrated arm. Like, we underrated Tom Brady's arm for years when we were watching it in real time. Mac Jones wouldn't have been able to throw those balls to Randy Moss. He wouldn't have been able to utilize any of that. So I think it's Drake May. And Mac Jones was a little quicker than people give him credit for. They tried to make him out like he was a Tom Brady clone. Like he could move, but he can't. He doesn't have the ability to manipulate a defense with his feet the way Drake May potentially can and has.
Yeah. This year is going to be very telling. Again, because we've re-entered the phase of Patriot land that if I am critical or have an observation or have a concern, it means I'm a hater. But this year will be, because I had, and I talked about it all season, and I had one glaring concern. I saw a significant improvement for Drake May across the board, except for one area.
Pocket awareness.
And reading the defense and pocket awareness. And that is crazy concerning to me.
Yeah.
Right? Even the slightest of improvement from year 1 to year 2 would have made me feel a little bit better. But how many times did I text you and just say this guy has zero awareness of what's happening on defense, zero awareness of his pocket? He's either seeing ghosts or he's just letting it collapse on him and not seeing it come. And look, I get it. Some of that is having a bad offensive line, but you'd think that at some point that would. I actually felt a little better when he was seeing ghosts, because at least he was trying to get out of the pocket. It may have been too early at times.
Yeah.
But for the most part, he wasn't. And he was just letting it collapse on him. And it's like, dude, the pressure's coming. You see it's coming. Why are you not doing anything to get rid of the football? You know what I mean? Make a quick release. Do something. Step up. And even like the announcers would be like, hey, like Drake May needs to step up here. He needs to do this here. This year, he needs to me, I will tell you by week 8 whether I feel like Drake May will be the guy for the Patriots moving forward. And it's going to come down to what I see in the pocket.
Yeah, the season's going to be tough, and I'm not I'm already thinking about it, right? Could it be a better season? This is what I've heard other people repeat, and I'm not going to pretend like I came up with this thought first. It's just the way I'm thinking about it. It may be a worse season on paper, but it needs to still be a better season or a better product on the field. And I don't know how you equate those two things yet.
But you can't equate. It's not, yeah. So the record might be worse, but if you see Drake May take a significant step forward, and I don't mean with his mechanics. He seems smart with his mechanics. I mean in other areas, like, again, just being a little... I mean, how many times did you and I say, like, why... You talk about the throws he can make.
Yeah.
But how about the throws he does make? A lot.
Right.
And you know what I mean by that.
This proves your point better. There's more text between you and I, especially from those last couple of games as he was under siege a little bit more, is just throw the ball away or just tuck the ball and take the sack. Like the strip sack, the weird bat out of his hand fumble. Like I totally agree with you. The
interceptions. And that's my nervousness. I will tell you, week 8, I will come out here and tell you the Patriots could be 0-8. I don't care what the record is. I will come out week 8, if I remember. I will come out week 8 and tell you whether I believe Drake May is the quarterback of the future for the Patriots, or whether he's going to go down in Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, and list this quarterback territory of just guys who we thought was going to be the next guy and wasn't. Because year 3, full season under you, Super Bowl run, got probably one of the greatest offensive coordinators in the history of the game behind you, a coach who has put all his faith behind you and had your back when the fucking media was after you, when you were playing like shit, had your back better than Belichick or anybody would have had your back. If week 8 comes around and you're still looking like an idiot, in those situations, then I'm going to have serious concerns. That's what I'm going to get. Anyways, we said we do 20 minutes. It's been an hour and 14. I got to let you go. I'm tired. Right. I like to spend a few minutes with my wife before we go. Mike, I'll see you in August.
Sounds good. I think we're good. We're good for that now, despite if they make a couple little moves or not. So,
all right. Tell me about those Patriots.
They're going to be legit, kid.
Dear Pats Nation, it's just about time. Yeah, we're back. You know it's Dear Pats Nation. Nation. Yeah. It's Dear Pats Nation. Nation. Come on. Yeah, it's Dear Pats Nation. And the show starts in 3.